Monster Energy files lawsuit against indie game over title. Monster Energy has filed a lawsuit against the indie game Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals. This time the company claimed the developer Glowstick Entertainment broke copyright with the horror game's title. So, no, wait. So if I go on Steam right now, I bet I have a game with monster in the title. Clash of Monsters, Garshasp. Well, they wouldn't fuck with Garshasp. He's way too powerful. Monster Hunter, Monster Challenge. So are they trying to like own the word monster? Because this seems like such a weird topic or target. I don't know this game, but I can't imagine it's like super huge. Yeah, I just read that they did this to Ubisoft Gods and Monsters. And of course, Ubisoft being the cucks they are, fucking bent the knee to it, I guess. Company has expanded its settlement terms by preventing Glowstick Entertainment from ever using green and white logo on a black background. What the fuck? Huh? How is their title confusingly similar to the energy drink in any way? What in tarnation? How? It's not like it's just called Monster. It is literally called Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals. So it's even plural, too. How is there any level of confusion? This is some awful, litigious bullying for no reason. How popular is this game? I'm unfamiliar with it. Is it a big game? Is that why they're doing it? There's 8 people playing this game right now with a 24-hour peak of 17 hours, and the all-time peak was 254. Why are you targeting them? Why? What the fuck? This doesn't make any sense. They actually went out of their way to find an obscure title to be an asshole to them. This game came out in 2020 as well. It's not even like it's a new thing. It looks like they're trying to set a legal precedent to sue bigger companies. Oh, interesting. That is very nefarious. I'm not knowledgeable enough on the law to know if that's like actually a plausible strategy, but they did successfully bully Ubisoft, which is it's a lot bigger than Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals. So why would they then downsize? Own the right to the word monster. That fucking sucked for me because my Steam name is Monster. That'd be brutal for me. It's got to be personal. Yeah, maybe someone on the Monster legal force played Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals and was like, "Man, this is fucking awful. I'm gonna send them something. I'm gonna sue them." Imagine Rockstar doing that. Brother, we don't even have to imagine. Did you guys forget when Take-Two did that to It Takes Two? Take-Two owns Rockstar. So I guess it wasn't Rockstar themselves, it was Extension. Additionally, Livings posted an official document from Monster Energy to explain their lawsuit's terms. As seen in the image, Monster is pushing to prohibit the word monster in the game's name, claw-like designs, or green and black imagery. Glowstick Entertainment also won't be able to use the word beast or unleash. What is this? What has happened to us as a species? What the fuck? It is well known that Monster Energy is a notorious trademark troll. Unfortunately, they're at it again. For a company that likes to target their drinks at gamers, they also like to try and bully and bankrupt game studios with lengthy, high-dollar litigation. Monster was actually shoehorned into Death Stranding. I guarantee you, somewhere in that game, the words monster, beast, or unleashed was used. That'd be quite a beautiful plot twist if they sued that game after forcing their way in there to be ham-fisted into it. Oh, that's right. They did remove it, didn't they? That's right. Living's plans to fight Monster Energy in court. Dishonest companies like Monster Energy depend on doing their bullying in secret while presenting a clean image to their base, athletes and gamers, he said. Showing their true face publicly is the only real way to stop them. Bro, hats off to this guy. Like I said, I don't know the game. It's not a game I have ever heard of before, but I really hope this blows up their game. I hope they get tons of players and it turns out to be just like this hidden gem. This guy seems to have a good head on his shoulders. He gets it. Monster Energy's past legal battles include suing an Ohio restaurant for containing the word monster on its sign, a Georgia welder for using a similar M logo, and a man's aquarium hobby forum called Monster Fish Keepers. Yeah, this one makes sense. Shame on you. This would have confused me too. If I go to Monster Fish Keepers, I would be wondering where can I purchase the energy drink? What's all this shit about crustaceans, right? Like, I'd be confused as fuck. That would be a legitimate cause for concern. Those are so close. It has the electrolytes the fish crave. They're gonna try to copyright the Monster Mash next. Thanks to the bits doobie. That's a great fucking idea, actually. Make MWL with Monster vs. Dasani. Not the Dasani part, but having a character in the MWL just named Monster and see if we can get our names in the headlines with Monster Energy suing us. That'd be huge for us. Spread the Moist Wrestling League a bit further. That's a great idea. By getting sued. Yeah, but they wouldn't win the lawsuit. There's no shot. Having a wrestler named Monster and then trying to make the argument that it's confusing for Monster Energy somehow. Like, this is just a frivolous dog shit nothingness. There's just, I can't imagine a world where they could actually win this if it ever makes it to trial. Because who the fuck is going to confuse a Steam game called Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals with Monster Energy? It's just to bully them and keep trying to monopolize the word monster, I guess. I mean, Apple tried to trademark the word apple and the court just said no. I'm sure it'll be a similar case here. Oh, I'm confident they win this. I mean, again, I can't imagine a world where Monster Energy somehow makes a compelling argument that this game is somehow confusing for their brand to their customers, unless Monster's going to have some kind of bombshell revelation during discovery where it's revealed that Monster Energy is actually shrinking everyone's IQ and turning everyone into fucking lobotomites where they can't process a difference between a video game and an energy drink. That they think their customers are so fucking stupid that they're gonna get confused here because they see the word monster and caveman brain activate, so they assume it's an energy drink. Like, I just can't imagine a world where they can make, like, a compelling argument. I wonder how they even found the game. The only way that I could envision the way they found this is that they were on Steam literally looking for anything with the word monster in it to be a target of a lawsuit. That's the only way they'd be able to find it, because again, this game has only ever had 274 players at its peak. That is its biggest player count. It's not a massive game, but I hope it turns into one as a result of all of this. They went out of their way to find someone to sue. It's not the game, it's the font. You're putting words in their mouth, unless it's in this lawsuit. I didn't read the actual lawsuit, but even still, the font is still far removed, and it is still plural monsters, and doesn't match that closely. The only thing in common is that it's all squiggly and spooky, whereas this one, I just don't see it even being close. But that's also not even the argument they were making, I don't think. They were saying that it's confusing for their brand to the customers. This is a video I've been debating making for the last 24 hours. I think this situation is extremely important to talk about, but it's also really complicated. This shit is more confusing than the plot to the movie Tenet. So let's just get into it. Let's spread apart these ass cheeks and get into the stinky meat here. I want to quickly hit you with the cliff notes on why you should care about this situation and why it's a big deal. There's an absolutely awful comedian named Schaub who is currently suing a small YouTuber over jokes they made about him. Also worth noting that YouTuber lost both of their channels, perhaps because of Schaub, though that's still alleged. If it's true though, then Brendan just gave him the quarter pounder with cheese. Got the double whammy in there. And why this is a big deal is because Brendan Schaub is going after him because of the jokes he made, but also because he showed clips of his podcast in order to make some of the jokes and criticize him, and is claiming it's not fair use and it's a violation. And obviously, fair use is very important on YouTube and the internet in general. So should this actually go to court and should this clown somehow win, it sets a really bad legal precedent. Now let me get a bit more into the lore of this awful comedian. So there's a terrible comedian named Brendan Schaub, who was a former MMA fighter, and he rose to fame not really from MMA, though he was very successful there. He came into the public eye thanks to his frequent appearances on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think he's the #1 reoccurring guest on Rogan. He's been there like 80 fucking times. So he basically got his career by suckling off of Joe Rogan's hot dog sized nipples. And from that, used it as a platform to make his own podcast. The dude's got like fucking 10 podcasts. So he has like a lot of productions, and it's something called Thick Boy Media. And he also tries to do comedy, unsuccessfully. The most entertaining thing about Brendan Schaub is when people are making fun of him, because he is the joke. The only comedy he provides to the world is in the form of a punching bag for people to laugh at and joke about. He himself steals jokes, allegedly, and I tried to watch one of his stand-up specials. It was fucking miserable. Watching Brendan Schaub desperately try to fish for the punchline to the joke he's attempting to tell is like watching a dog try and cross the street with oncoming traffic on its way. It's just painful, and you just want to like look the other way. It's miserable. And half of the stories he tells are blatantly just lies. Like, you can tell he is making it up on the spot in order to one-up someone. Like, I was watching him interact on another or actually it might have been his podcast, I don't remember now, but he was talking with Chris D'Elia, and they were talking about being out of gas. And Brendan Schaub just comes out of nowhere, like, raises his hand. Oh, wait, actually, I was out of gas like you guys, but in a much cooler way. You see, I'd actually just won a fight, and after winning a fight and having 15 threesomes, I was in my Hummer H2, he makes sure to specify, brand new Hummer H2, and I was running low on gas, and I was like, I can ride this bitch out, but I couldn't. I ran out of gas. So then I had to, with my Hercules-like strength, push this Hummer myself all the way to the nearest gas station. And then the gas station guy said, didn't I just see you on TV? They need to pay you more. That was his story. Of course, I embellished it a little bit, but the story was, I just want to fight. My brand new Hummer was running out of gas, and then I had to solo push it to a gas station where the gas station guy recognized me and said they need to pay me more. That obviously didn't happen. There's like no reality where that ever fucking happened. I wasn't there. I wasn't like tapped into the NSA security cameras nearby or anything, but I can say with a high level of confidence he made that shit up in order to just one-up everyone around him for no reason. Like, there's no moral to the story. There's no like good jokes in the story or anything entertaining about it. It's just him being a fucking douchebag. If you were solo pushing a Hummer, who was steering it? How did you push this Hummer and steer it all the way to the gas station? How far away were you? There's just no chance. And then just so happens the guy working the gas station watched you on TV moments before and then mentioned you don't get paid enough. And then what? Everyone clapped? And then you became prom king? Like, he blows my mind. He is quite literally that frat douchebag everyone knew in college that would tell the worst jokes of all time, but no one bothered to stop them because no one cared. No one laughed. No one gave them any attention, but they convinced themselves that they were super entertaining in their own mind. That is him. That is Brendan Schaub. That is the comedic stylings of this absolute troglodyte. But anyway, so he is currently suing a small YouTuber over jokes that they were making about him. He's very sensitive. Brendan Schaub may look like a big tough guy, but he's actually a really soft, insecure man, if you can believe that. So the jokes hurt his feelings, and he used another company to take down the videos that were criticizing him, joking about him, and then went the extra step to sue him. Now, I can't show you the video where the YouTuber was going through the lawsuit because he just fucking showed the full legal document, because I can't show it because that's taken down, and also probably wasn't a good idea to just show the actual legal document. I'm sure there's something in place to say you can't do that, but he was very transparent with Brendan Schaub's legal document that was sent to him. It is a full-blown suing case from what I can tell. I'm no expert. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't pass the fucking bar or anything, but it does seem like he is going all out to fuck this man in the ass. I imagine this was supposed to be some kind of scare tactic to frighten this individual and make them stop posting mean things about Brendan, but the YouTuber said that they are going to fight it, they are going to go to court, and I think that's great because they need to beat this case. They need to continue to set this precedent across the platform that you cannot abuse this system like this. This is not okay. This is very clearly an exploitation of the system. This is just a slam dunk victory for the YouTuber being sued because Brendan Schaub has no case. If Brendan Schaub somehow won this, then it actually hurts Brendan Schaub too, because from what I understand, he also reacts to videos and uses clips from other things in order to joke and criticize. So if he wins this case, he fucks himself too. It's like mutually assured destruction from an absolute goddamn supervillain idiot. It makes no sense. And I don't think anyone around Brendan Schaub is smart enough to tell him how stupid he is. And I wish I could show you some clips of Brendan Schaub and all of this going on, but I'm not going to take any chances with how fast and loose he's being with the legal system here. So I'm not going to show anything from any of his podcasts or anything he said. But what makes this situation really complicated is the fact that there's no real hero in this story. The YouTuber that's being sued is someone that I wouldn't really root for under normal circumstances. I don't want to mention their name, and I don't want anyone to harass Brendan Schaub or this YouTuber. I'm not going to mention their name, but I've seen a lot of archived live streams from their channels where a lot of very disturbing shit was happening. This individual sometimes would get drunk on stream and have incoherent ramblings and say some really fucked up and tasteless shit sometimes. And in one case in particular, I saw a clip of them leaving the stream and then arguing with their girlfriend, and it did sound like some type of domestic violence was occurring in the background. This is all alleged, and this is only based off of live streams that have been archived, but over the course of like the last 2 or 3 years that I was able to like look at this person, I saw a lot of people talking about frequent domestic violence on stream. I saw a lot of clips of him and his significant other constantly arguing, yelling, shouting, screaming, and just a lot of really disturbing things.
Playful retard. Has no idea what's really happening. Oh, she annoys me.
Kyle, it's a birthday, man.
What is it? Yeah, stupid. You didn't get banned. You just were irrelevant. And I gotta handle kids because you couldn't, stupid.
Ban him forever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're a fucking retard, fuck. We're going to the fucking kids. This fucking
What am I doing with you?
Abusive.
Like I said, his channels are down, so I can't look at his content myself and see him. I can only experience this through the re-uploads from his community and the community members talking about the streams and talking about these clips. But from what I've seen, it is some pretty fucked up things. I've seen a couple of interviews with him as well as people talking about him, and there's just a lot that is not great. Especially that clip where it does sound like he is hitting something or someone. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully that's just a complete wrong interpretation of what's happening. But I just wanted to say, from everything I did see on this individual with like the arguing, which happened on stream often, and the drunk streams where really not great things were talked about, it's not someone that I would be like super enthusiastic to support, but I do hope they beat the case against Brendan Schaub, because Brendan Schaub is basically salting the fucking earth here. As these cases build up, if any of them win with these absolute bogus bullshit claims in court, if any of those win, it sets that legal precedent going forward, which means other equally stupid idiots like Brendan Schaub can abuse the system the same way. So I still hope that they beat Brendan Schaub, but I recognize that they might not be a good person themselves. But yeah, I do think this is an important case, because this is only one of a handful of cases where a YouTuber goes after another YouTuber on absolute bullshit claims. And hopefully, just like the previous cases with like Ethan Klein versus whatever the dude's name was, I'm already forgetting his name, hopefully this case will also result in that shit being shut down as well. Like I said, I think this was probably just supposed to be a scare tactic that didn't work and might find its way to court, though I still do think that's unlikely. I'm hoping the case just gets dropped and doesn't go that far, but if it does, hopefully it gets an absolutely biblical smackdown in court, just gets fucking slapped off and don't have to worry about it again. But yeah, I just wanted to cover the situation because I do think it's an important one to talk about, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah.